At the story's beginning, we see a beautiful nurse named Gwen. To look at, she looks completely innocent. But from inside, she is a crazy-filled psycho nurse. When other nurses reduce patients' pain, she, seeing pain increase, feels peace, satisfaction. In this way, she, to many happy families, as a family nurse in the form of meets. In the beginning, everyone starts to consider her a part of their home. She fake caring's pretense doing by slowly that family so close comes that everyone starts to consider her trustworthy. But then she, their life upside down, turns and leaves. Anyway, now we see Gwen in a hospital where she an elderly patient's care is giving. That old woman breathing in trouble was having. But Gwen her oxygen increase instead of reduces, and doing this to her, very much happiness was being felt. Not only that, with her own hands, the oxygen tube by pressing holds, due to which that old woman breathing in much difficulty starts having and slowly her heartbeat also stops. After this, she herself goes outside and starts screaming that doctor quickly come. Screaming sound hearing, doctor quickly comes inside. At that time, Gwen Dornier standing slightly smiles, which seeing clearly it is known that she is a psycho nurse who people in trouble seeing peace gets. But this time, doctor that patient's life saves takes. Gwen's with that old woman any personal enmity also was not. Rather she all this her own enjoyment for was doing. Now before anyone any action takes, she hospital from leaves. After this, scene changing, we, in a wonderful home, a lovely family are shown, where Todd and his wife Mira, their son Max with Live. Morning time Mira kitchen and breakfast is making, because Todd office for leaving is about to. Todd and Mira each other very much love do, and both each other very well, understand, also do. Just then, Max his crutches support by walking, there comes and says, "Mom, my leg's in pain is happening." Max actually has muscular dystrophy, because of which his legs and strength doesn't remain and he crutches support only walks. Mira this hearing gets worried, so Todd explains that doctor has said, a little bit pain will be therefore, to panic need is not. Just then we see Gwen there comes. Actually, Gwen was hired for Max's care and she a family member like, right there staying, Max's care takes. Then all together for breakfast sit, during which Max's crutch falls. Gwen immediately it to pick up help does, but just then she the crutch's grip loose does, so that later Max falls because she's someone in trouble seeing good feels. Then Todd office to go before, Mira when his suit is fixing, then Gwen them watching jealous becomes because Gwen's heart in Todd for a strange desire had awakened was. Todd's after going, Mira's friend. Karen to meet comes, and both talking are. Meanwhile, Gwen Max, with playing, secretly their talks is listening. Karen says, "I think you people Gwen, on necessity more than trust are doing. You someone else nurse should hire." Mira says that no, Gwen Max's very good care takes, and she are with completely a family member like Liv's. But that talk complete also not happens that Max's scream hearing, they outside go where Max had fallen. Mira anger in Gwen to talks telling starts. But Max says Gwen's fault is not. Crutch broken had. So Mira Dr. Keller to call does and new crutches orders. Then at night, Mira Gwen from apology asks that I you on anger should not have done. I just Max about worried get. Gwen smilingly says, "I understand that a mother her child for how much tension in lives." After this, Gwen Mira for herbal tea makes which Mira to relief gives. Next day, Mira a support community and goes where Max's disease like other people also come, there. Her son about speaks that how he one day stairs from fell had, and then he muscular dystrophy got. Then when Mira home returns, then Gwen again, that herbal tea her in hand holds gives. Mira a little surprised feels, but this about much not thinks, and then a little while in, she sleep comes. During this, Dr. Keller new crutches taking Max to meet comes, but Gwen says that Max sleeping is therefore now him cannot meet. Dr. Keller more questions not does, but going time says, "I think I you somewhere saw have, but remember not coming." If remembered came, then definitely will tell because Mira your very much praise does. Then that same night, Gwen quietly Dr. Keller's house reaches, and as soon as door opens, then opportunity getting, she Keller to an injection sticks, and here truth comes out that Gwen, that same nurse, was who that elderly patient to kill tried had, and Dr. Keller that patient CPR giving saved had. Now Gwen Keller to says, I families like not do, therefore I them ruin do, and this time Todd's family's turn is. Now Dr. Keller this truth tell not give, therefore her right there killing all evidence erases and back comes. After this, at night, Mira to David named a man's online call comes, who says that his son also Max-like disease has, his wife's death has happened, and he also his son for nurse hired has. Mira him with talks, but David's profile picture blurry is. Therefore, she him properly identify not can. But here twist is that David anyone else not is, rather she Gwen herself is, who voice-changing talk was doing. Next day, Mira's friend Karen home comes in talking during mistakenly Todd's shirt on drink spills. Gwen it to clean for takes, and that same during Karen also a room from her bag to take goes. Just then, she Gwen strange way in Todd's shirt, sniffing sees. But anyone to anything not says, because she fear was that family and fight will happen. After this, at night, Gwen, again, David becoming Mira to call does. Both in quite familiarity had happened, therefore Mira openly talks, and both in Max's falling about discussion happens. Just then, talking, Gwen David's voice in Mira, with flirting, doing naughty things, to say starts, which Mira to uncomfortable feels. Then suddenly call cutting, Gwen directly Mira to goes, and her call regarding hands catching asks, that David who is, Mira this about talk not does, then Gwen going Todd to says that Mira nowadays some David named man with talk is doing. Gwen actually wanted that Todd his wife on suspicion do, and their relationship break should, but Todd says that Mira nowadays troubled lives, and David probably her some friend will be. Now here Gwen's plan not works, so she Todd to hug does, and good night saying leaves. Next morning Mira late till sleeps, so Gwen and Todd kitchen in are, and Gwen opportunity seeing Todd close to come, tries. Just then Mira comes and sees that Gwen all work doing already everything ready has done. To her Gwen's extra caring, seeing a little strange feels, but on her suspicion not happens. A little while later, Karen calling Mira to birthday flowers sending for thanks says, Mira is surprised that she had flowers not sent. Gwen from asking, she tells that calendar in Mark seeing, she herself Karen to flowers sent had. Just then talking, Mira suddenly dizziness having falls. So Gwen her handling picks up. Mira says, I probably doctor to going blood test should get done. Gwen says doctor's need is not. I your blood sample taking test will get done. After this night falling, David i.e. Gwen Mira to call doing talk starts. Just then, Todd and Max home returning seeing, she immediately call cut gives. Mira Max to his room until to take was about to. But suddenly to her, everything blurry to appear starts, and to her, very much weakness feels. She Todd to says you take, I now come. But then weakness because of, a little while in her eyes close. That same time her phone in Weber named a man's message comes in which written was that David a fraud is. Next morning Todd her to wake for comes. Just then, his glance Mira's phone on Weber's, that message on goes, and his mind in question comes that this Weber, who is, but for now, this about any talk not does. Max also was surprised that mom nowadays so late till why sleeps. Now Mira to why every day so much weakness feels. This thing we soon will know. Gwen, home in 24 hours lives, and now she everything before than more handling started had. Mira Gwen from apology asks that she nowadays anything do not can and very much fatigue feels. Gwen light smile with, says that this all to do my duty is, and you just well rest need is, and blood report completely normal is. During this Mira to Weber's name from another message comes, and Gwen that message sees also takes. But Mira reply and writes that me, message doing trouble not do. After this, Mira Karen to meet goes and says that Gwen told my blood report normal is, and I just rest need is. But Karen says that you probably someone else doctor to should show who's Gwen with any connection not be. Just then, Gwen David becoming Mira to an email sends in which written was that Weber my defamation doing try is, therefore his talks ignore do. But that same time Weber again Mira to message does, probably your son's life in danger is, therefore I you to meet need to. This seeing, Mira, a little strange feels, and home reaching after, this about she Gwen from talk does that she tomorrow Weber with a cafe in meeting is going. That same time Todd this all hears takes, due to which his mind's question now suspicion in changing, starts that Mira him cheating is doing. Next day, Mira cafe and going Weber with meets. Weber tells that my real name David Weber is, but people me Weber name from no, my any son not is, and I you with ever talk also not did. Someone my name's used doing is, and this recently to me known came, then says that my wife Laurel to cancer was. One day some man her emailed and her doctor's treatment stopped to said. Laurel his talks to follow did, and that same mistake and Laurel's death happened. Then he Laurel with talk, doing that man's photo, also shows which seeing Mira is surprised that this is that same man is who she so many days till talk was doing. But we know that this some man not is, rather Gwen herself was, but Mira still Gwen on suspicion not was having. Meanwhile, David Mira's following was doing, and they both when cafes outside coming out, going time hug do, then Todd them seeing confirmed becomes that Mira him cheating is doing, but truth what is, that we know. On the other side, Karen Mira's bag, to give their home comes and Gwen from meets. But her motive something else also was. She Gwen to directly says that you, Todd's shirt sniffing saw had. I know you Todd to want and him to get for, not know what plan making are. But remember if you Mira's family to harm to do tried, then I you not will leave. This saying, as soon as she to leave starts, then Gwen behind from attacks doing her unconscious makes. Then her a deserted place taking her body in drug injecting her right there leaves. After this night's scene, we see where Mira dinner was making. Just then, Gwen Max taking physical therapy from returns, and Mira when her son with talk is doing, then Gwen secretly Mira's knife takes. Then Mira to says that she tomorrow till will return because she some special person with a little time to spend has. After this, morning happening, she directly David's house goes, where we find out that Gwen before David's wife's nurse was, and she herself Laurel to cheat, giving treatment stopped had. David to everything telling after, opportunity getting, she on him knife with attacks does, due to which David killed, is. Then Mira's blood sample David's body on spills so that police to feel that Mira herself real killer is. After this nighttime Todd drunk home returns because he was thinking that Mira him cheating is doing. That time Mira sleeping was so Gwen, this opportunity's advantage taking her room until takes and his close to come tries. Todd drunk was, but he still Mira for loyal was. During this, Gwen suddenly his close coming kiss doing starts. But Todd such to do from refuses and her his room too to go says. Gwen to a little anger comes. But Todd's in front her anger on control keeping room and goes. Next morning Mira wakes up, then first her glance her herbal tea bottle on falls, in which Gwen had message left that she little guy i.e. Max to school taking has gone. To her a little suspicion happens so David's message checks, in which he often little guy saying his son's talk did. She this had known that message doing real David not was, but Gwen, if little guy, word uses then was she herself David becoming talk was doing? This thinking, to her a shock hits, and she immediately her bottle from herbal tea throws, inside which white powder like something collected found gets. This meaning, so many days till Gwen her narcotic medicine giving sleep was making. Then she Gwen's room in goes where a book in poisonous medicines list was, and bed under those same medicines bottle also kept was. Just then Gwen home returns, so Mira immediately outside comes and completely normal becoming talk does as if to her anything known not is. But Gwen a little suspicion gets, and she again that herbal tea bringing gives. Mira her in front to drinks pretense does, after which Gwen Max to daily like therapist to taking leaves. After this Mira again Gwen's room in going those medicines video record does and Gwen's all truth says. Then Todd to calling Gwen about talk starts that just then suddenly Gwen again home returns. Mira her from Max about asks. But her expressions from Gwen understands that Mira her reality known has. Just then, Mira immediately cars key taking to leave wanted, but her stops and says, that come Max near let's go. Mira gets scared that probably she Max to something not do, therefore quietly her saying on car and sits. On the way Gwen clearly says that me people in trouble seeing good feels, due to which I many families have ruined. But your family me such belonging gave due to which I Todd to love started. But him to get for I your place to take will have to. Meanwhile Todd panicking home reaches, where Mira her phone had left. He Mira's recorded video sees, then Gwen's reality knowing worried becomes. Meanwhile, Gwen Mira to her old house takes, where Mira worried becoming Max to search starts that probably she Max locked up has. But Gwen completely a psycho like talk doing starts that Max still therapist nears and you tension not take. I my son to anything not will let happen. I Todd to want, and you just secretly to disappear doing your place to take want. I your families how much care took have. Now its reward then to me should be given. This all hearing Mira badly scared becomes, and to escape tries. But Gwen, her stopping to kill trying starts, and both in fight starts. Gwen, her throat squeezing to death from to kill trying does. Just then, Mira, a utensil picking her head on hits, due to which she unconscious becoming right there falls. After this, Mira home comes, and then we stories last seen in reach, where Todd and Mira their son with again their old and happy life in living are. Meanwhile, Gwen again not is shown, just this much is known that her game now finished has, and murder case in she whole life jail's punishment is serving, and with this story right here ends. So friends, I hope this story you very much liked will have. Then we'll meet another fun story with